सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ।
Good afternoon. Sarvesham Swagatam. I think we are almost nearing the conclusion of this workshop. Performer and the performance. Avadhani तथा avadhanam, avadhanayojanam, avadhana kavyaswarasam ityadini तानि प्रपञ्चन्ते अत्र. Now, as I mentioned earlier, what are the qualifications needed to become a poet? They are the most basic qualifications of an avadhani, Sahitya Avadhanam. Whenever I am saying this, Sahitya Avadhanam is the invariable focus on which we are discussing everything. And that's why I need not emphasize once and again frequently that it is Sahitya Avadhanam. So, to become an able poet, to become an adept poet, what are the qualifications one has to imbibe? Everything, they are all needed in greater proportions. Unfortunately, there is a proverbial verse, Kavye Shastreshu Hina Kavayo Bhavanti, Kavitva Hinascha Purana Bhattaha, Purana Hina Krishaka Bhavanti, Bhagna Krisher Bhagavata Bhavanti. This verse perhaps is the product of a cynical mind, I think, because he is denigrating all the professions, all the talents. All are important, all have their own value and their own significance in the society. And when a person, he ought to be so, he has to or she has to be best in that, and he will or she will continue to be so. And hence, it is wrong to think that those who are unable to catch up the nuances of Shastra will become Kavis. I have mentioned time and again that to become a Kavi in our tradition, he has to be erudite in so many features, but he may not be actively engaged in those Shastras. But the Shastra Samskara or Shastra Vasana or Shastra Parichaya, it is very, very important. The proportions, the degrees may vary. And then Kavitvahinascha Purana Bhatta, it's again wrong. It is a talent. It is a talent of communication. It's a talent of storytelling and propagation. And that is also needed for Navadhani. And then Purana Hina Krishaka Bhavanti, it is very, very wrong. It is highly unpardonable because agriculture is the backbone of any society and any culture. And Bhagavata is devoted to the Lord. And in the name of Lord, if a person is going on alms and leading a very simple and pious life, it's a very great ideal in itself. But in that sense, all the qualifications needed to become a Kavi are must and should. Unfortunately, many people think that people who have no talent to compose verses, people who don't have greater talent to compose beautiful poetic verses, they turn out to be Avadhanis. And of course, unfortunately, several Avadhanis are also cause for this wrong presumption, a wrong notion which is prevalent in the world. But we are not discussing about mediocre Avadhanis or novices. Here our focus is to achieve the best and also deal with the people, deal with the art which has seen its best, which has seen its zenith. In that sense, when we see in the opening day itself, it was mentioned, when Dr. Pathiriji also had a reference to it, Dhatraya, Dhara, Dharana, the idea. I equate these three elements to the three deities, Srishti, Sthiti, Laya, Karaka. Dhara is creativity, it is extempore versification, and also engaging conversation. Even to have an engaging conversation is very important and rather difficult virtue to achieve. We know both prose and verse, they are part of poetry, Gadyam, Padyam, Tatha, Mishram, Trayam, Kavyamiti, Ritam. So all are poetic in nature, and to converse in a poetic manner, in an engaging way, which is rich with information and entertainment, packed with poetic analogy, is a quality by itself. And not to speak of versified expression, it is even more greater because meter contributes so much to beauty of poetry. And then it is creative power of the creator Brahma. And then dharana is the retention, that is sthiti, paripalana, Mahavishnu. And then dhairya, laikaraka, he is not destroyer, he is not nashakaraka. Laikaraka means to homogenize things and to dissolve and not to destroy. And hence, we need lot of courage. At the end of the creation, he only remains swallowing everything and dissolving everything and taking them to absolute non-expressive levels. It means they would have lost both nama and rupa, name and form. So the expression is completely lost. Only it remains as an impression experience, and that is dhairya. Dhyaha idam dhairyam. And these three are very important. And dhairyam itself, Sabharanjana is included. As we know, a courageous person, a bold person, an assertive person who is not having any stage fear will always engage people in a creative manner. And in Dhara itself, we have all the elements like Pratibha, Vyutpatti, and Abhyas. What all we need to become a poet. I have already mentioned about the nature of Pratibha, Vyutpatti, and Abhyas. I need not go through them again and again. And we have Chandas, Vyakarana, Alankara. Alankara means aesthetics, where we have both the poetics and rhetorics both coming to picture. And then the Anyanya Shastra, various Shastra. This is needed and that is not needed. We cannot make any distinction. Anything and everything can come to picture. If you go through, if you turn the pages of Kalidasa or Bharavi or Magha or any other great poet of past, or even today, very great novelists, we can clearly know how erudite they were in many aspects of learning, and how copiously they bring in such elements of Shastric nuances into their versification. And then we have in our tradition, a poet and historian like Rajshekara mentions a few things. Here you can see from Kavya Mimamsa of Rajshekara, he enlists 8 qualities: Swasthyam, Pratibha, Abhyasa, Bhakti, Vidvat Katha, Bahushrutata, Smriti, Dardhyam, Anirvedaha, Ashtau Mataroha, Kavitvasya. Swasthyam, basic health, both mental and physical health, very, very important. And in Swasthyam, we can also include the verbal health. We need Trikarana, Manovakaya, health of the 3 levels, and that is Swasthyam. And then Pratibha, of course, inborn imaginative power, and Abhyasa, practice. Bhakti, Bhakti means devotion. It also means a love for art. Bhakti, in its basic feature, Satvasmin Parama Prema Rupa, as Narada Bhakti Sutra mentions, it is Parama Prema Rupa. In that sense, Bhakti is devotion equated to love, extreme love, intense love. And it need not be emphasized that it's unconditional. Any love should be unconditional. And Vidvat Katha, this is very, very important. Unless we have close contact with people of taste and learning, we cannot achieve greater heights in our intended pursuit. Vidvat Katha is very important, and here itself we have Goshti, Vinoda, and other things. Unfortunately, nowadays, this Vidvad Ashraya, Vidvad Upasarpana, it is dwindling. Everyone thinks that he or she is best in that field, and going to others for clarifying doubts is often thought to be a blemish, and it is disrespectful. No, one should never feel so. And bhakti also means paripaka, refinement, because another meaning of bhakti is boiled rice or cooked gruel. That means refinement, finesse. It is very, very important. Abhakta, idante natapaskaya, nabhaktaya kadachana, like that Krishna mentions in the pageant of Bhagavad Gita. Abhakta means who is not refined, who has no good taste. Then we have Bahushrutata. Here comes Vyutpatti, erudition of all sorts. And Smriti. Of course, I need not mention how memory is important to become a poet, and more so with respect to Navadhani. And the Smriti Dardhyam, it is strength, strong memory. And then Anirveda. Anirveda is very, very important. No dejection, no bitter feeling. Here I remember a beautiful verse penned by a very great scholar, musician, and poet, Sri Rallapalli Anantkrishna Sharma. He says in his Nyasa Kalanidhi, a devotional hymn submitted at the lotus feet of the Lord, Anirveda Masiddheshu Sadhiteshvanaham Kritim Analasyancha Sadhyeshu Krityeshu Anagrahanana. What is that we can pray for? Anirvedam asiddheshu. No regrets for things which are not being accomplished. And then sadhitesh vanaham kritim. No pride for things which we have achieved. Having no pride. And then analasyancha sadhyeshu krityeshu. What all can be done? What all can be done in future course? If it could be accelerated, if it could be quickened, nothing more better than that. And in that sense, Anirveda and then Analasya and Anahankriti, these three are very, very important to any human being, and more so in the case of an Avadhani, because a performer should never lose heart. If a poet loses heart, after a few days or months or weeks, he or she will be gaining back and continues to compose. But amidst the program, if the artist loses heart, what to do? He should never have the syndrome of Arjuna who stood before Bhagavad Gita. It should always be the spirit of Bhagavan Shri Krishna. One's own motivation comes from his own inner call. And then these eight, Swastya, Pratibha, Abhyasa, Bhakti, Vidvatkata, Bahushrutada, Smritidardhyam, Anirvedaha, Ashtau, Mataraha, Kavitvasya. These are the 8 mothers of poetry. And then Kshenendra, a wonderful poet, scholar, polymath, perhaps he should be a polyglot also, as he knew so many Prakrits. He enlists more than 100 qualifications which are needed to become a poet. I am not enlisting here all the verses, I am not giving. In our book, we will be getting all these with translation and explanatory notes. I shall read out some of the verses, beautiful verses, which are mostly needed by Navadhani. In Kalkanta Bharana, he enlists them. In the second Sandhi, Vritta Purana Mudyoga, Pat Parakritasya cha, Kavyanga Vidyadhigamaha, Samasya Paripuranam, Shilpinam Kaushalotpreksha, Veera Yuddhavalokanam, Shoka Pralapashravanam, Shmashanaranya Darshanam, Ravindutara Kalanam, Sarvattu Paribhavanam, Janasangabhigamanam, Desha Bhashaupajeevanam, Atrishtata Jotkarshe, Parotkarsha Vimarshanam, Atma Shlagha Stutau Lajja, Parashlaghanubhu Bhashanam, Sada Swakavya Vyakhyanam, Vaira Matsara Varjanam, Paronmesha Jigishacha, Vyutpatyai Sarvashishyata, Nutanotpadane Yatnaha, Samyam Sarva Surastutau, Parakshepa Sahishmatvam, Gambhiryam Nirvikarata, and it goes. Here I have called out some 6-4 lines. Now, one by one. Vritta Puranam. One should practice prosody first. Those who have not yet become poets by expression, as Rajashekara mentions, Sarvopi Hridaye Kavihi. One and all are poets by heart. So, Kavitva Bija is there. As people used to say, everyone will have stuff, will have a story, will have a content to write a novel, and that is about himself or herself. In that sense, Sarvopi Hridaye Kavihi. But to become a poet by expression, he or she has to practice and Vritta Puranam Udyoga. And then Vritta Puranam is trying to express thoughts in the form of verses. For that, starting from nonsense rhymes to anything, we have to go with it. Next, I'll be going to that also. That is Udyoga. As a full-fledged occupation, one has to go with it. And then Pataha Parakritasya means we have to read the poems of others also. Some people used to say, I don't want to get influenced by others, and that's why I don't want to read anything other than my own. Then who will read yours? Hence, we have to read. I remember one thing, a great scholar by name Garadpuri Shastri was there. In Sosale, Garadpuri Shastri was there in the court of Mummadi Krishraj Vadiyar before 200 years in Mysore princely state. And he had his own son, Sosale Ayya Shastri, as a student, and another gifted student was Abhinav Kalidasa Basoppa Shastri. and he used to say his son, and used to warn him not to write, not to compose poetry. While he encouraged the other student, Basavappa Shastri, to compose poems, why his son used to complain, why you are encouraging that boy and not me, though me being your dear son. Then he used to say, Garalapur Shastri, you see, Basava has by heart 10,000 verses while you haven't yet completed the task. And hence I am depriving the privilege of composing verses from you. And until you complete that assignment, I will not allow you to compose verses. So this is a very, very tall estimation, very tall benchmark. But we have to respect it, and whatever possible, to that extent, we have to continue our pursuit, and hence part of Parakritasya, very, very important. Kshemendra in the same verse says, Pathet Samastan Kilakalidasa Kritan Prabandhan Itihasa Darshi. Has to study Ramayana and Mahabharata completely. One has to study. And unfortunately, many Sanskrit scholars have not completed the course of studying Ramayana from cover to cover and Mahabharata from cover to cover. I add Katha Sagar also to be studied along with this. These three are very, very important. And then the Kalidasa, all the 7 works of Kalidasa have to be mastered. In that way, there are so many other things. Me and Shashi have prepared a list and will be publishing it on Preksha Journal, where we have done a long list of best Sanskrit Kavya, Natakas and other works to be studied by people who want to enjoy the literature and even want to become better poets and better writers in that language. Then Kavyanga Vidyadhigama. Kavyanga Vidya means all the accessories, all the auxiliary learning which is needed for becoming a poet. There we have so many kavyas, so many shastras, Vyakarana, Alankara, Chandas, so many other things will come to picture. And Samasya Paripurnam, though it may not be needed for a poet, but lateral thinking is burnished and it will be enhanced when you solve Samasya Paripurnam. I told earlier, among the components of Avadhana, my first choice is Samasya Purna, because we have lateral thinking of the highest order there. And so many multiple solutions can be given, many solutions can be given to the same Samasya, means how different possibilities are explored. In one of my Avadhanams, my revered mentor, Sri Lanka Krishnamurti, he gave a Samasya and wanted me to solve in 8 different patterns in a single Avadhana. I did all those things. And he wanted to test me in that regard. How many possibilities can be explored? Shilpinam Kaushala Preksha. Shilpinaha not essentially restricting to sculptors. We have all arts being called as Shilpas. And hence Nritta, Gita, Vaditra, Chitra, Shilpa, Nataka, all are treated under the heading Shilpa. And that's why we have a term called the Shilpadarika, means the girls who are capable of performing the arts and other fine arts. And then Kaushala Preksha, appreciating their talents. And there so much of erudition is needed, and it will also enhance our wisdom and intelligence. I remember in one of my Avadhanams, my friend Arjun Bharadwaj had given one Samasya, and the Samasya was Manmatha, he shot without using bow and arrow. Javali Bhangepi Mumocha Bana. Not even Manmatha, anyone. Javali Bhangepi Mumocha Bana. Even when the string of the bow was cut, the archer could shoot the arrows well. That was the Samasya. And the solution of Arjuna, I thought, was the best. From the Prichaka, that was the finest solution. And many other friends of mine in our regular weekend Kavigoshti, they took that as a challenge and solved it. But I told them very bluntly, I told them, when the best has come, don't attempt unless you could improvise upon that. He had taken inspiration from dance and had composed the verse, and the meaning of it I still remember. An actor who came to the stage to perform his presentation in the Lokadharmi manner. There are 2 modes of execution of dance on the stage in theatrical art. One is Lokadharmi, realistic, and other is Natyadharmi, that is suggestive and conventional. He wanted to present Lokadharmi, and that's why he came with actual bow and actual arrows. But when he entered on the stage, the string of the bow, it got cut. Then he took the same thing in a Natyadharmi fashion, and with the Shikarahasta and also Katakamukhasta, he could do it. This is Shikarahasta and this is Katakamukhasta. Even without the bow, he can show. This is how he used his erudition of dance to solve this samasya. In that way, we have samasya purna, Shilpinam Kaushala Preksha. Kaushala Preksha, that way, so much Vitpatti Sarvashishyata it is in other another words of the same section. This is very important. And then Veera Yuddhavalokan, many of our poets have not at all seen wars, and they have churned sargas after sarga while describing the war. It is dubious and hilarious of the worst order. We should not be. One should have practical experience, at least as a spectator. And then Shoka Pralapa Shravanam. Some of the people who are very tender-minded, they want to avoid such pathetic scenes, such harsh scenes. But a poet should be seasoned in the world, should be soaked in the emotions of the world, and should go beyond that as well. And here Shoka Pralapa Shravanam and even Shmashanaranya Darshanam. Go and watch cemeteries, burial yards, and then forests, dense woods, jungles, and whatnot. And then observing the nature. Ravindu Tara Kalan, sunrise and sunset, the best thing that we can behold in our lives every day, every evening. And then Sarvattu Paribhavanam. Keenly observe the changes in seasons. Very, very important. Many poets, they don't know. Just apart from parroting the same Ashoka or Kurabaka, Kurantaka or Kadamba, Kovidara or Lodhra, Nipa, such stock phrases and stock names, they don't know how other trees and how other flowers they react to the seasons and how they bloom. Nothing is known, and that has to be understood. And then Janasanghabhigamanam. Going to people is very, very important. It should be people friendly. Unless he cannot or she cannot understand the emotional nature of people. And then Desha Bhasha Upajivanam, very, very, very important. It is a sorry thing nowadays, especially since 30 years or so. Many of the Sanskritists, they are ignorant towards the regional languages. Though they know it, they use to the extent of kitchen language and for local communication, and they have no sense for its literature, for its tradition and others. But earlier, as far my state is concerned, I'm saying with first-hand understanding and evidence, earlier, before 50 years, so many Sanskrit scholars, let it be my own mentors like Vidwan N. Ranganath Sharma, who was a great scholar in classical Kannada and translated so many classics of classical Kannada into modern Kannada and wrote commentaries on that, and was also a very informed person in the grammar of Halaganada, and wrote so many of his works in very, very chaste Kannada. And another mentor, Dr. K. Krishnamurti, he was almost a poet and scholar in classical Kannada. He could easily write hundreds of verses in that. All the classics of Alankara Shastra, which is translated from Sanskrit to Kannada, they have versified examples there. Every versified example being translated by himself, and has translated many Sanskrit plays. Not less than some 10 plays have been translated, and everywhere he has used his own versification. And this is Desha Bhasha Upajivanam. And this is the same case with Andhra Pradesh. And even Hindi belt, they have so many scholars. They are very good poets in regional languages also. Even today, a gifted poet like Abhiraj Rajendra Mishra is Triveni Kavi. He writes in Hindi and also he writes in Bhojpuri. And of course, he is well versed in Sanskrit and a great poet there. And even Dr. Radha Vallabh Tripathi and many others. And even our contemporary young poet and very promising scholar, Dr. Balram Shukla, is also a very good poet in these regional languages. But this has to be nurtured, this has to be furthered, which is almost a de-linked one. In Tamil Nadu, we don't find, if the situation is otherwise, I'll be very happy. Sanskrit and Tamil, they are completely de-linked. It should not be the thing. Everywhere we have to revitalize and recharge. And incidentally, I have to say, Avadhanam is one of the best means by which we can revitalize the organic relationship between Sanskrita and Prakrita. Prakrita is Desha Bhasha, not by the narrow definition of Prakrita, by the expansive definition, wide definition of Prakrita, or the Desha Bhasha, we can say. In that way, Kshaimendra mentions that he says, Patet Samastan Tilakalidasa Krita Prabandhan Ityatdarshi, and then Giteshu Gathasmata Desha Bhasha Badheshu. Gita, Gatha, and all songs and folk literature in Desha Bhasha, poets should lend their ears and heart. And then we have Atrishnata Nijotkarshe, very important. Avadhani should have eagerness to perform and he should welcome any invitation, but at the same time, any person should not go out of way to get an opportunity. One should not try to grab the opportunity, or one should not run behind the opportunity. Atrishnata. Desire should be there, but it should not become Trishna. Trishna is an enemy, as Buddha mentions. And then Parotkarsha Vimarshanam. This is also very important. Parotkarsha Vimarshanam means not criticizing the betterment of others, criticizing the achievement of others. It is trying to understand how the others became famous, how the others became best in their respective fields. Let me know that. So finding out reason for the quality of others and other creations, very important. Constructive way of looking at anything and being objective in doing so. And Atmashlaghas Tutau Lajja, very, very important. Many Sanskrit poets, though they are pious in their expressions, in their appearances, they are worst people as far as their narcissist complex is too bad to behold. That should not be the case. We should follow the ideal of Kalidasa. Surya Prabhu Vamshaha, Vachalpa Vishayamatihi, Titir Shuttustaram Moha, Udupenasmi Sagaram says. And this modesty is very, very important. And then Parashlaghanu Bhashanam, trying to appreciate the real virtue of others. One need not be accustomed to flattery. We should not do such thing. Unnecessary flattery is wrong. It is worst. But at the same time, Jigisha is very important. But Kathana means boasting. It's not at all needed. If at all we want to have that Kathana, as Nilakanta Dikshita says about his grandfather Appai Dikshita, Yam Vidma iti Granthan Abhyatyamo Khilaniti, Yasya Shishyaspa iticha Vikathante Vikaschita. Kathana means boasting. Oh, I knew Appai Dikshita, I heard about him, I read his works, and of course, he was our great mentor. In that way, by degrees, scholars used to have their pride being enhanced, and it is with respect to a guru. I belong to a great tradition and had the good fortune of learning under the lotus feet of a master. It's a very great gratifying feeling, and that is what needed and not others. And even an Avadhani also, just because he has the talent to become an Avadhani, he should not ridicule and look down other scholars who may not be an Avadhani and who may not be interested in performing. Every scholar, every field of scholarship has its own merit. And that's why I remember Dr. Sadananda Shastri, Jyotsam Sadananda Shastri, a bilingual Avadhani in Kannada and Telugu, used to say, Naniyeno on the Garadi Telugu in Tumba Gaurva Kodbedi. In Kannada, he used to say, you may think that I have some mesmerizing quality of becoming an Avadhani, by that you should never treat me as a very great scholar and an achiever. This is what needed. Humility, true humility, Arjava, and Prasannata are very, very important. And then Sada Swakavya Vyakhyana. See, people should be Avadhani or even a poet should be good enough, kind enough to come out with his verses, what he has composed, and present it for the Kanashas. He should not shun these Rasikas, Sada Swakavya Vyakhyan means you should give clarification. If someone asks about the usage or imagery or nature of some such thing, no, I don't have time. You search for yourself. It is wrong. I did so. What do you feel? Like that, he should be eager enough to share his knowledge. And then Vaira Matsara Varjan. Enmity is the worst enemy. Matsara and even jealousy is too bad. But though these are all not directly connected with a poet, they are connected with a good human being. And unless a person becomes good human being, what is about his or her talent? And Paravunmesha Jigishacha. So many people would have achieved so many things and they would have set high records. Let me break the records. Let me smash those records. That way, a sportive spirit is very important. Vyutpatti Sarva Shishyata. This I like very, very much. One should have the zeal to become student at any time to anyone. In the Bhagavata, we have Avadhuta Gita, where from various teachers, how a yogi learned so many aspects of yoga and self-enlightenment. That is the everyone will become teachers. And Nutanotpadane Yatna. This is very important. Unless we have something constructively new, creatively new, enjoyably new, and also which is good for all, such thing is novelty. Just for the sake of novelty, namesake novelty should not be brought in. As we know in advertisement, you have the same product, but the package will be new. Content should be new. That's why Anandavardhana, the fagent of Dhanyaloka, says, Nasadah kartavyaha kavibhir anavadye svavishaye taratvatyevesha ghatayati yadhishtam bhagavati. This is what it makes a poet. Constantly struggling to achieve the real new thing. And what is that novelty? Ramaniyata. As Bhaga mentions yesterday, also I quoted, Chane Chane in Navatam Upaiti Padeva Rupam Ramaniyataya. And also Samyam Sarva Surastutu. One and all should be respecting all gods, all forms and all names, across the religions, across the methods of worship, across the modes of aradhana. One should respect others and one should not be lost in narrow sectarianism, narrow religious bigotry. And then Parakshepa Saishnutvam. Of course, when a person is a public figure, when he is a performer, she is a performer, his or her art will be subjected to scrutiny and criticism of the public. You have to receive it. Not all performance will be good. Someone would say, on that day I had gone to his performance, Ganesh, how bad, it was horrible. I had to swallow two anasins or two crosins. If not, that headache I would not get rid of. That was the feeling. If one person says, yes, I have to respect his experience, that way, Paraksheta Saishnatvaman, we should not go on with reasons and trying to justify others. It is waste of time and it will erode our internal strength. The contemporary novelist, great novelist Dr. S.L. Bhairap used to say, I ignore such a scandalous criticism. I accept when it comes, but I will not enter into debating. And Gambhiryam, dignity, Nirvikarata, all are connected with one another. If you go through the list, you will find out what Bhagavad Gita says about a devotee, Bhakta, or Sthita Prajna. Most of the elements are given by Kshemendra. And that's why in the Vedas, Kavi is equated with Rishi. Kavi is Manishi, Paribhuhu, Ishavasya Upanishad says. And Shankar Bhagavad Pada gives in his commentary, Kavi Krantadarshi. Krantadarshi means he could think beyond certain limits. Next, we shall go to another feature. In the Mahabharata, we have an interesting shloka in the Udyog Parva, while Vidura was enumerating his niti to Dhritarashtra in the Prajagara Upaparva, we get this verse. Who is a scholar? Pravruttavad Chitrakataha Vohavan Pratibhanavan Ashudrantasya Vaktacha Yassa Pandita Uchyate. Pravruttavad. One should be an engaging conversationist. And then Chitrakataha. Imaginative constructions, imaginative stories, imaginative plots, and imaginative ideas should be impregnated in his creative writings. Muhavan. Guha means who could guess things. That is very important. Guha goes without reasoning, but Tarka, Anumana goes with reasoning. And Guha has greater scope but lesser strength. Both are important. And Guha takes the dimension of fancy if it has a lot of creativity. And when fancy is tempered with auchitya and vyutpatti, it becomes imagination. That is Pratibha. And Pratibhanavan, of course, imaginative. Ashut Granthasya Vakta. Grantha means a construction that has 32 syllables. It may be prose or verse. If it is verse, generally one anushtuk. That's how we take. This work has so many granthas means not so many works, not so many pustakas are there. It has so many verses composed in anushtuk or so many passages where each passage weighs 32 syllables. And Vakta, Pravruttavat means spontaneously one should talk on his own accord. As Rama was Purva Bhashi, Smita Purva Bhashi, and the other day Shashi mentioned. And Vakta, Vagmi, Vasudeva Hindi is a Prakrit verse there, one verse goes. Shateshu Chayate Shuraha, Sahasreshu Cha Panditaha, Vakta Dasha Sahasreshu, Data Bhavati Vanava. Vakta Dasha Sahasreshu. So many people who are comfortable in their places and compose so many beautiful works, but they are utter failures when they face the mic. Facing the public and coming out with engaging conversation which is logically and aesthetically appealing is an art, is a talent by itself. And that is Vaktritva. Issa Pandita Uchyate. Panda means Jnana, and one who has the Jnana is Pandita. Now we shall go to Ashu Granthasya Vakta means Ashu Kavi. Instantaneously he should emerge with many verses. So going back to Kshemendra's Kavikantha Varna, he gives, starting from the basics, he says, a poet, Kavi Babhushu, a person who is desirous of becoming a poet, should try to compose verses first without meaning, nonsense rhymes as we call in English. Meter will be followed, but grammar and also other nuances will not be needed. Just to understand the meter, just to unstitch the metrical structure, these verses are useful. One example he gives: Ananda Sandoha Padaravinda Kuntendu Kandodita Bindu Bindam Indindirandolita Mandamanda Nishyanda Nandan Makaranda Bindam. You can somehow connect a vague meaning to it, but it is melodious in nature, and all the alliterating words are repeated together. It is in Indra Vajra meter. That's how we can make it for every verse. Sarasa Mohana Kavya Visharadam. One line in Dritavalambita. Madhurata Tuli, Madhurata Bhuvi Vishwata Kirti Bihi. No meaning. Sadasiyasya Vichara Bharam Yada. Nonsense, no sense, but just words are there. You can say Rasikata, Sikata, Sikata, Tata, like that. Madhurata, Dhurata, Dhurata, Tata. Like that also Kshemendra's gives one more example. And then modifying some popular verses, recasting them from one to the other. It is even more advanced course, one step higher. Here he has taken the famous valedictory verse of Kalidasa, Raghuvamsham's first verse. Vagartha Viva Sampratto Vagartha Pratipattaye Jagatah Pitaro Vande Parvati Parameshwaro. Just replacing the words by our own. Vagartha has become Vanyartha. Samprattav has become Sanyuktav. Vanyartha Pratipattaye has become Vanyartha Pratipattaye. And then Jagatah is same Jagatah. We can also make Lokasya. Pitaro Janako. Parvati Parameshwaro Sharvani Sheshishekaro. You can change it in so many manners. Likewise, you can take any verse and then modify it. That's how you can do it. And we have added one more thing, even higher. Next notch. One notch higher than that earlier. Here, recasting a prose passage to a verse. One or two other verses, 2, 3 verses. Here we have taken the famous passage from Banabhatta's Kadambari, Shukana Sopadesha, very, very engaging, powerful prose passage full of poetry and wisdom, imagination and learning. Lakshmi is being described here. Wealth. न परिचयं रक्षति, न अभिजनं वीक्षते, न रूपम् आलोकयते, न कुलक्रमम् अनुवर्तते, न शीलं पश्यति, न वैदग्ध्यं गणयति, न श्रुतमाकर्णयति, न धर्मम् अनुवर्ध्यते, न त्यागमाद्रियते, न विशेषज्ञतां विचारयति, नाचारं पालयति, न सत्यमनुबुध्यते, न लक्षणं प्रमाणीकरोति, गन्धर्वनगरलेखेव पश्यते एव नश्यति, अद्याप्यारूढ परिवर्तनावर्त भ्रान्तिजनित संस्कारेव परिभ्रमति. Wonderful. Just to have that experience, one has to read Banabhatta. Really gratifying thing. This prose passage has been modified, has been cast into 4 verses, 3 belonging to Arya varieties and 1 Anushtup. It is cast by me and Shashi. Nalokayate rupam kulakramam nanuvartate chapala rakshati naparichayam va navikshate shri sada bhijanam pashyati sheelam naisha vaidagyam naiva ganayate hindusuta nashruta makarnayati cha nadharma manurudhyate nava tyagam nacharam palayate na satyam anubudhyate pramanayate lakshana jatam narama vicharayati no vishishta vijnanam gandharva puralekheva pashyato nashyati dhruvam Mandaron Mataja Bhranti Sanskriteva Brahmatyaso. Here, most of the words are used as there. Wherever meter allows, there the verses have been taken as there. Where the meter is not allowing, they have modified, and even the order of the verses have been changed in accordance with the metrical requirement. That is how we have to mold it. Because, and then we have Parasmai and Atmani. When we need a guru, we have gone for Palayati has become Palayate. Like that, we have changed. In that way, depending upon the demands and need of the meter, we have changed here and there. Gandharva Nagara Lekeva. Most of it is understood, but 9 syllables are there, and that's why I have made Gandharva Pura Lekeva. Pashyata eva nashyati. Pashyato nashyati. Dhruvam we have added. Like that, you can compare in a cleaner manner, in a detailed manner also. You can go to it. As we don't have time, we shall move to the next features. Here, we have Avadhani going through all these features. Composes spontaneous verses in the Avadhani. But then people have one objection against Avadhani. And many Avadhanis themselves have come with this. The great Avadhanis, Tirupati Venkata Kavulu and others, they too have spoken about that. And when they compose, when they started to compose Kali Sahasra, they left it unfinished. In the Kali Sahasra, in the beginning, it says, Saptadaksha Shatavadhana Samaye Vitte Nivitti Krite Sapta Shunya Vastu, like that. When Shatavadhana is being performed, irrespective of the topic, whether it has quality or not, we have composed useless verses and having polluted you. Now we are going for a Praishchitta. It is we are trying to emancipate our sin by praising you. As in the name of God Kali, they are saying, as Leela Shuka says, Namatarnatha Paramanuchitam Yatkalanam Purataka Shankam Jatra Pitri Putaye Nartitate Tat Chantavyam Tajasarle Vatsale Vani Kuryan Praishchittam Gunaganaya Gopaveshati Vishnu. So I am going to fructify my talents of versification by praising Krishna. Earlier I misused my talent in praise of so many kings and patrons for want of money and other things. So many Avadhanis too have here and there spoken about that. And even my friend Dr. Shankar Rajaraman has the same feeling. But we should not ignore certain serious points. What is leisure poetry and what is extempore poetry? In one of my Avadhanams, I came out with a verse when some person asked about that. Kalanukula vidina madhumasa bhase kullat prasuna sadrishi kavita grihotha स्वप्रातिधीय रमणी मणिदोहदोद्यत पुष्पोपमा किल सभा कविता सदैव. It is based on Dohada. Leisure poetry is like a flower that basks in light of spring and blossoms according to season. Extempore poetry, on the other hand, is a flower that blossoms at any time, stimulated by the dohada performed by the damsel of creative imagination. So, this has its own charm. We shall discuss it later. And then uh, here we have to bear in mind one important feature, that is, when we try to denigrate Sabha Kavitva in the name of beautifying verses, in the name of contemplated verse will always be beautiful than Sabha Kavitva, we are questioning the very possibility of creativity, very possibility of extemporaneity, and that is not fair. And also, in Avadhanam, not just the verse, even the prose passages, they're all Kavya Kalpa and Kavya. And even Kavya Vachana Vyakhyana is Kavya. Everything has to rise up to the level of Kavya. And also, it is a total experience. A live show has its own beauty. In music, you have recorded music is available in plenty. Yet people want to go for performances where in live they get greater enjoyment. That is so with the dance. And that is so with painting also. That is so with so many other performances. Though people go and watch films, movies in the theaters, they also go for plays where the dramas are enacted directly. And thus so even this has to be treated. And if there is any lacuna, it is mainly because of the limitations of that particular person and not of the art. Because art is always higher than the artist. And then we have one more feature. On this, my friend H.A. Vasuki has written a beautiful passage itself that is available on the Pariksha. You can read it. Then we have a few of the required features, few of the things which an Avadhani needs. His body language should be pleasant. Undesirable, ugly body language is not fair to any person, and more so in the case of an Avadhani. Because for 3-4 hours, people have to befold him and they have to bear him. Then that being the case, he should have a prasanna mukhamudra as Rama was smita purvabhashi, smita bhashi, like that. Mandasmita is very important. And also prashraya, modesty. And we have hasya, atmastha and parastha. I have a different dimension for that. Though in Natyashastra it has a different connotation. I say atmastha means making one's own self as the subject of humor. That way, one has to be ready to make one's own self for the object of humor. Such features are needed. And Avadhani should have a good voice. Good voice means he need not be a musician. If he has music to his credit, it will be well and good. My friend Umesh Gautam, an Avadhani, is a good musician and he comes with his harmonium to the performances. And while performing, he'll be playing here and there, now and then. So it will be engaging as Madhuramani used to play Veena. Taptara Driksha Shatavadhana Samaye, when that Shatavadhana is going on, Veena Vadan Tatpara, while playing on the Veena, she will be composing Samasya Shatam, Datva Samasya Shatam, Yakura iti Sadhya Samsadi, like that she says. And then Avadhani, if he knows how to sing verses, that is very important. As Veluri Shivaram Shastri, a very great and mature Avadhani, because among the yesteryear's Avadhanis, I rate him as the best in certain features because of his internal maturity. He was a saint-like person. He had knowledge of so many Shastras and he was a very great grammarian and had a lot of confidence and courage. With all that, he was so humble and also realistic in approach. And he says, Avadhani may not have good command over music, but he should recite his perfumes in a pleasing manner. If not, it will become dull. And that's why pleasant voice is very important. In Andhra, two very well-known Avadhanis of our times, one is Dr. Medasani Mohan and other is Dr. Madagula Nagamni Sharma. Medasani Mohan is known for his speedy versification. That's why they say Medasani Vegam. And Madagula Nagamni Sharma has a pleasant voice and he uses Mohana, then Madhyamavati, Megan, a few ragas for say rendering his verses, and it is very melodious and say Madagula Vegam, Medasani Ragam and Madagula Vegam, like that. It has become proverbial. And another Sahasravdhani, Vaddipati Padmakar is also an accomplished person in music, and he sings his verses very well. This is one thing. And yesterday, one of the Shibirarthis, they had some question on music, and I have listed, me and Shashi in our book have listed how many ragas are instantaneously appealing and easily accommodatable and easily acquirable by the Avadhani. When an Avadhani could imbibe such a raga, they can be very easily, suitably, they can be rendered. And those ragas can be used for composing, and this is an element of music. And also, Vaktritva, we have examples of that in Ramayana, in the Kiratarjuni of Bharvi also we have Hutata, Napadai, Rapakrita, Nachana Svikrita, Marthagauravam, Rachita, Pratagathata Giram, Nachasamartyam, Apohitam, Pachit, like that. Dharmaraja appreciates the phraseology of Bhima and the oratory of him. And even the oratory of Hanuman was appreciated by Sri Rama in Valmiki Ramayana, Kishkinda Kanda. Vistaramasandibdham avilambita madrutam charayati kalyanim vacham hridayaharinim, like that. Bahu vyaharatanena nakinchid apashabditam. It's a very, very important thing to keep in track with correct grammatical usage while speaking in a resonant manner, in an eloquent way. It's very difficult, especially in classical language of Sanskrit, which is merciless in condemning wrong usages. But it's all very difficult standard to achieve, and yet we have to struggle, toil more. And then we have something like asana shuddhi or asana siddhi of the Avadhani. Avadhani has to engage his connoisseurs for not less than 3-4 hours in Anushtavadhana, and in Shatavadhana, a session would at least go for 4 hours, like that 3 days. In Sahasravadhanam for 30 days, something like that. Then he should sit without responding the nature call to. To that extent, his body language and even his health and all should be permitting. And then we have, from the perspective of Rasikas, Tirupati Venkatakaulu, Chellapilla Tirupati Shastri, in one of the interviews, he says, in the audience, even if a handful of people are not positive to Avadhani and who are having their own biases and prejudice against the Avadhani, unknowingly the performer will be realizing it. So it is an intuitive thing, and his performance will drop badly. And that's why Avadhani should always take his people, his connoisseurs to confidence. If the Sabha is Sumukha, if Sabha Saumukhya is established, much of the work is done. And to that extent, he should have command over, positively command over his connoisseurs. And then in Avadhanam, the beauty is, while in Gunakavitva, we don't know how the process goes on. In Sabha-kavitva and Avadhanam, the process is also seen, and that is a very rare thing to happen. And that's why this is one of the features that will make Avadhanam more appealing. And then one more use of Avadhana, one more objective of Avadhana is popularizing classical versification, because our country, our nation, our heritage, we boast that it is having an unbroken tradition of thousands of years. And how to establish that? They have the Vedic practices, Vedic recitations, they have dance performances, they have music, they have Shastric debates, Vakyartha, discussions, and so many. And also we have the temple traditions, and we have the rituals, we have the Shrauta tradition, which lasts since 5,000 or 10,000 years. Then all these have their own holy tradition, an unbroken tradition. How about spontaneous poetry? How about Vidvat Goshti, Vidya Vinoda, and others? It's only in Avadhana we can see. And that's why we have to give credit to Avadhanam for perpetuating the classical art of versification. And then my mentor, Sri Lanka Krishnamurti, used to say, it is because of this a constant perpetuation of classical versification through our Avadhanas in Andhra Pradesh. Even today, classical poetry stays as Grihakavitva there. When compared to other parts of India, as far as I know, nowhere in our country we have so many traditional poets who compose in traditional meters in regional languages as compared to the number and quality in Andhra. Though in Karnataka we few are there, in Kerala also there are one and two people, and I don't know much about Tamil Nadu, though there are very few people, but the metrical structure in all which is rather loose. And in Hindi and in Marathi, very few people are remaining, but the number is not great. But in Andhra Pradesh, we do see that. I remember once in Yugadi Kavita Spardha, which was organized by Andhra Sachitra Varapatrika, a weekly magazine, popular magazine, entries, more than 1,000 entries had come from the traditional versification side, and 900 entries had appeared from the modern free verse style. It means traditional versification lobby, in the positive sense, is very much. And they have one association itself meant for that Padya Vidya Sadas. It's all very, very laudable. And then we have one more dimension that is about the questions in Avadhana. Which type of questions can be accommodated? Anything and everything I told. But Pritchakas should take care to see that variety is maintained. While discussing these things, we have here and there mentioned the qualifications of Pritchaka. I shall reiterate that Pritchaka should be no way inferior when compared to an Avadhani in understanding the nuances of this art. Because many times, an accomplished Avadhani himself or herself will become Pritchaka. For example, what Avadhanam we are going to witness tomorrow, there two are accomplished Avadhanis. One on Nishedakshara, my friend Sri Uma Maheshwara, and on Dattapadi, another accomplished Avadhani in Kannada, who can also beautifully versify in Sanskrit, Ganesh Bhatt Kappal Tote, another close friend of mine. That way, we have Avadhanis becoming Pritchakas and vice versa. And today's Pritchaka can become tomorrow's Avadhani. Such prospects are always there. With that being the case, Pritchaka should be Sahridaya, Vidvat Kavi, and Auchitya Veda. Should know which is proper and which is improper. By witnessing several Avadhanams, these are all the things which can be known by itself. But topics, Shashi also mentioned, Pritchakas should not resort to newspapers for topics. In many of my Avadhanams, this was the headache. I used to beg the Pritchakas, please ask the Rasamaya Vastus, because the Vastu is very, very dry. Of course, anything and everything can be made Rasamaya by a poet. But we do have importance of Vastu. And the Vastu should be variegated. If an Avadhanam is arranged in a Ganapati temple, Nishedakshara about Vinayaka and Samasya about Vinayaka's head being chopped, and Dattapadi about Vinayaka's marriage with Siddhi Buddhi, and Ashikavita about Varasiddhi Vinayaka Vrata, means what will happen to Avadhanam? No, this way of monoculture, bald uniformity is very bad, and that's why I composed a verse in an Avadhanam. Prakaramsho Maduramsho Patodhe Nirjarasya Ghanaganasya Vallarya Vedopicha Tadita Shri Rihitavadhana Prashne. It's an Arya variety. It is perhaps an Kandhaka. Tadita Shri Rihitavadhana Prashne. Yes. A question in Avadhanam must contain within itself the heat of the sun, the coolness of the moon, the depth of an ocean, the force of a waterfall, the impenetrableness of woods, the grace of a creeper, the vastness of the sky, and the brilliance of lightning. It is not only dealing with such topics, it is also dealing with the nature of the topics. Means some topics will be very hard, very harsh, and some will be very soft. Nigrahanugraha Samarthya. And some topics will be very vast. In my first Shatavadhanam, I was asked to compose a verse so that the story of Mahabharata is narrated. You just think, whole of Mahabharata has to be narrated in one verse. I did it in a Sesapadyam in Kannada. And then Nirjara, a gushing waterfall. Patodi is very expansive, and at the same time the force of a waterfall, and Ghana Gahanasya dense forest, impenetrable forest, and Vallari, a tender creeper. It is almost dancing, and in that way, deep subjects, profound subjects. In the same Avadhanam, I've asked one topic. You just enumerate Advaita in a cloth shop. Bhatta Angadiyalli Advaita. I did it. This way, profound things in a peculiar manner. And Vallarya, Vyado picture, expansive sky, and also a lightning. Sky is eternal, Nitya, Vibhu. And at the same time, lightning is Kshanika, Kshanapprabha, Chapala, Chanchala. Means the topics of Avadhanam should have such a variety, in such an expansive way, they should appear in the Avadhanam. I think we are left with one small section regarding the organizing of the Avadhanam. I don't have much to say. In our book, everything has been written, but this much, an Avadhanam, like any other art, needs good patrons. And patrons should be rasikas, resourceful, and also capable of organizing the program well. First, they have to consult the Avadhani, which type of Avadhanam according to their resources, time, and others. Whether it is 3-hour lasting Ashtavadhanam or 3-day expanding Shatavadhanam, or so accordingly they have to. And in consultation or even without consultation of the Avadhani, they can go for Prachakas, no match fixing. But why Avadhani has to be consulted? Because he may know real good Prachakas. If the organizers are new, they may not be knowing. And that's why, for no other wrong reasons. And Prachakas have to be ceremoniously invited, formally invited, and then the place, the venue and time, they have to be fixed. And a decent hall. It may go on even in a spacious home also. Drawing room Avadhanas are also popular. I myself started Grihavadhanam. Like that, it can go on. When it is a hall, regular hall, its acoustics are very, very important. Without acoustics, Avadhanam will be ditched completely. It will be ditched, and that's why proper sound system and proper lighting also is needed, because the faces of the Rasikas and faces of the Prachakas and Avadhani should be seen mutually. And then sitting should be comfortable, even the Prachakas, and they should be provided writing material. Of course, Avadhani will not be having anything. And then now and then have to have water, proper facility should be made. And if it is a Shatavadhan, here and there, coffee, or even after the sessions, food and snacks and such things, it is all dependent upon the capability and resources and others of the organizers. And then lodging and boarding of the Avadhani and Prichaka is going for several days, and such things are there. And that's why performing an Avadhanam, Shatavadhanam, more than performing Shatavadhanam, it is very, very difficult. And then we have the part of the role played by the Rasikas. The Rasikas should have patience. They should come well before time. In the middle, if they enter into the Avadhana Sabha, they may not follow anything, because the data will be given in the first round itself, and it may or may not be repeated in the subsequent rounds. Then they will be having a lot of difficulty in connecting to the verses which are composed in an installment basis, line by line. And that's why they should come earlier. And as it is a mature art, a classical art, only people of a certain background they can appreciate it. So certain amount of Kavya Rasajnata, Kavya Vispati, and command over the respective language, they are all very important. And they should have a lot of patience also, because it is not an instantaneously appearing art like music. As it is said, Apata Mudaram Chaitat Chekam Anyad Alochana Amritam. This is not Apata Mudra, it is Alochana Amrita. And then they have to have a comfort with the Avadhani. And Avadhani should also take care of the Rasika, should never go mute and silent, constantly engage them. And at times, the Sahridayas may have enthusiasm to send 1 or 2 questions. Most of them are to the Aprastita Prasangi. they will go and they can be managed easily. But sometimes they will also go to the Avadhani. Then Avadhani should have some time for that. Intermediately, if he wills, it is not a compulsory thing. It's something like crediting the courses like that. We can spontaneously come out with verses, and those verses may appear the respective Sahridayas. Like that, these are all some of the features. And the Avadhan should be properly advertised. Nowadays, we have so much of media, we have no problem. Earlier, invitations used to be printed, and I still remember in Dakshina Kannada and then Udupi, the united district of Udupi and Dakshina Kannada, there many of my Avadhanams were organized, and the organizers were so copious and meticulous. They used to print every detail and the explanations of the components, everything, and even used to mention certain things like don't bring your children if they are younger than 10 years, and come with paper and pen if you want to note, or we'll be providing with that, and also sit before the performance commences and sit for the completion. All these things were mentioned there. It means so much of care was taken by them. And after the Avadhanam, if Shatabadhanam or other big scale Avadhanam, the verses of the Avadhani and even of the Pritchakas, they can be published in the part of a booklet or a monograph. Such things nowadays it is all easy because of the technology. Anyhow, all these things will go in the organization of the Avadhanam. And an Avadhani comes and starts with some invocation. We all know Mangaladini, Mangalamadhyani, Mangalantani, and the invocatory verses will go, and that is Sabha Kavitva. If he wants, he can have some standard pattern of few verses, like all Avadhanis will have certain verses which are constant, which are usual and uniform for all the programs. Something like the signature tune of Akashvani or Doordarshan, something like that, it will come. Title music in a film, that will be constant. And then he starts the Sabha Kavitva. And if he has time and mood, he can introduce his Pritchakas or show his respective Pritchakas in the versified form itself, and then appreciating the organizers, and then eulogizing the special day. I remember in recent Avadhanam of Rajattaiji, when it was performed in Somanath, he alluded his verses to that temple and also the historic event that happened, and the ungraceful act was properly paid back, and such things, they enhance the appeal, enhance the quality of the performance. And then one after the other, the questions appear, and at the end, Avadhani has to sum up, wind up with his commentary, and then Pritchakas will come out with verses. Sometimes Avadhanis will say there is no time, or even some audacious Avadhanis are there. They say their verses should not be eclipsed because of the beautiful verses of Pritchakas. This is wrong. Those scholars, just for goodwill, they have come to the performance, and for 3 or 4 hours they sat through and they have suffered this wretched Avadhani's performance, and they have copiously composed their verses. Should an opportunity be not to be provided for them? Should it not be provided? Certainly, we have to respect it. And more than anything, the Sahridayas will be getting other meaning verses and other perspectives for the same Samasya and same Dartapada. All these things is Sahridaya Samaradhana. And here, nobody is an enemy to anybody. And that's how it will go as a total Saraswati Samaradhana. That's why I earlier mentioned in the inaugural session itself, Devanam idam amananti sudhayaha antam kratum shravanam. So, Sarvesham avadhana munnati jusham ekam samaradhanam. It should become Samyega Aradhana, best Aradhana. With this, I conclude for today's session and open it for questions. Thank you.
अवधाने शतावधाने सहस्रावधाने वा तत्र अन्यः कालः भवति खलु तन्नाम अवधानात् अन्यः कालः तस्मिन् काले तस्य दिनचर्या अवधानिनः दिनचर्या कीदृशी स्यात्? So
full of tension. Full of tension.
What are the do's and don'ts, especially at that time? What he can do?
Of course, the prasannata, the calmness of the mind has to be restored. And for that, he should not be disturbed. In the recent Shatavadhana of mine, My mother was not well. On the first day, I completed the first session. I could not complete the first round. All the 100 questions I could not answer because of a lack of time. Because we started a bit late. I could answer for 86, and for the next day, I think 14 more. The remaining questions have to be answered, and then second round has to be started. When I went to my place, my mother was highly unwell, and I was not knowing whether she will live for that night or not. That was the grave situation. Then I immediately made up my mind whether my mother lives or not. I should go on with the Avadhanam because the organizers have toiled for 6 months and have organized everything. Let me see to it that the whole show goes on, and then I will attend my mother's last rites if she leaves me. Like that, I made up my mind and determined. So that way of taking a decision and keeping the mind calm is very important. Maintaining health, physical health is also very important. If the throat is choked, if some unhealthy situations come and other things happen, if the stomach upsets, all these are very, very important, and that's why the health has to be maintained, both mental and physical health. And of course, physical health is calmness of the mind. And then ruminating over the questions, very important. Solutions mentally and naturally. We have so many challenges which require a lot of focus and lot of attention, and that's why people have one question in Shatavadhanam. If you are left with your time after the sessions, there is every possibility that you may cook up. Cook up means he has to compose and he has to by heart. It is very, very difficult. At least you will be thinking over the prasas. In Kannada, Adi Prasa is there. Adi Prasa and all, you may refer books and all. That's why the real Avadhanam is Ashtavadhanam, where we are not allowed to move anywhere. And that's why to avoid this akshepa, in my first Shatavadhanam, I did it in one day itself. And even I was left with only half an hour to 45 minutes for lunch break. And there also, 3-4 people were watching me that I will not be referring to any book or something. And my mentor Lanka Krishnamurti made it a rule that I have to repeat his Kannada words. Sir, ಲೋಕದ ಆಕ್ಷೇಪಕ್ಕೆ ತುತ್ತಾಗಬಾರದು ಸರ್, ರಾಮಚಂದ್ರನಿಗೂ ಲೋಕಾಪವಾದ ಬಂತು, ನೀವು ಊಟ ಮಾಡುವಾಗಲೂ 4 ಜನ ನೋಡುತ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತಾರೆ. That's what he told. Even Ramachandra Murthy, Sri Ramachandra was also became victim of public gossip in that case. You should not become a victim. So people will be watching. And then the next 2 Avadhanam I performed in 2 days each. But next Avadhanam in 1 day itself I did. Even second Avadhanam, third and fourth I did for 2 days. And the 5th Avadhanam I did for 2.5 days. Because for all the 4 Avadhanam, no Aprastuta Prasangam, no Kavivachana, no Sankhya Bandha were there. It's all complete 100 verses. The regular Shatavadhanam which is practiced even in Andhra Pradesh. But for the 5th one, to keep people engaged, I used all these things. Then the time enhanced. So it furthered. Again, half a day. First day itself was the first session, and other 2 sessions. In Sahasravadhanam also the same day. Garikapati Narasimha had told me about the fights he underwent. The first he consulted his doctor and all that. That's why when the organizers are particular that there is every possibility that your versification may not be spontaneous, then the Avadhani has to take up this challenge, performing in a single day, or Ardha Shatavadhana, or Pada Shatavadhana, or Gunita Avadhana, something, or keep the CCTV, camera, everything alive, so that you will not be consulting any book like that. But everything goes on with confidence and taking people to confidence, it will go on. I had no time to do these things. Mentally, I was ruminating, I was going through the lines, and then whatever lines were given, I cannot polish it. But the rest of the lines, I was always thinking. That happened. Next question.
Thank you, sir. Bhakti Jadavji, you can ask.
Namaste, sir. Today there was a reference made to Kadambari. With regards to that, I want to ask something. Unless we understand Kadambari, we cannot enjoy the rasa and appreciate it. And to a great extent, it is difficult to understand Kadambari, even with the help of the Sanskrit commentary that is been published by Chaukamba. So could you guide how to understand Kadambari and text like that?
Long ago, Wilson himself, Wilson or Weber made a comment that it's like a tropical forest where strange birds frighten like wild animals and also peculiar Puranic allusions, very difficult to connect. But if you have some knowledge of our Purana, not too much, not very rare Puranic allusions are present there, and also some basic shleshas. Those shleshas can be understood by the commentary. But this much is true. I was first introduced to Kadambari when I was in translation. I was introduced to Kadambari, Kannada translations in my schooling, in my middle school itself. But when I came to pre-university, I was first introduced to the main text. Since then, I didn't found much difficulty, though I had here and there hiccups, but it never baffled me and it never repelled me. More than anything, the feel for Sanskrit poetry, that is very important. Unlike people from other cultures, non-Indians, if they learn Sanskrit, they find it very, very hard. And if a person is honestly finding hard in spite of he or she being Indian, means that person is not rooted in the Sanskrit tradition. Rooting in language is something, and rooting in the tradition is something else. To get rooted in the tradition, you should have the feel, you should have the Puranic stories, you should have the nature of the poetry. Shashi has some words.
If I may add a point here, the difficulty specifically with respect to Kadambari, I think is twofold. One is the complexity of the story itself, because it spans across multiple births and stuff like that. So you might gainfully consult some well-narrated retellings of the story itself, just the simple storyline that gives you, yeah, it can be narrated in 3-4 pages, and things like that exist. For example, if you consult the translation and the notes prepared by Professor M.R. Kale for Motilal Banarsidass, he has given the storyline of Kadambari. That way you can acquaint yourself with the text. And next you will find difficulty with respect to the sentence formation, the compoundings and stuff like that. Those are structural subtleties. Usually what happens is the Namapada is said at the last in order to maintain the wonder aspect. So you should know how to approach the text, and this you can see if you read through the Kathamukha. The rest of the next portion becomes easier. And also you should acquaint yourself with Sanskrit poetry itself, how the Varnanas are done, what sorts of poetic conventions are applied, are usually employed and stuff like that. So try reading some other poetry composed by other poets, get an idea of the Sanskrit poetic tradition, revisit Kadambari, then perhaps you will find it easier.
One more thing. Before that, if I had read Kalidasa, if I had read a devotional poet like Leela Shuka, that will be more than enough. And to catch hold of Kadambari, better go to simple passages. For example, in Shukana Sopadesha, you have certain simple passages.
Yeah.
And even in Kathamukha, you have certain simple passages. But some of the passages very, very complex. For example, Indrayudha Varnana is very complex. And then Rajagraha Varnana is very, very complex. And then we have the description of Dharmada Dharmika pageant. It is very, very difficult. And even the description of Vilasavati's delivery, when Chandrapida, Vilasavati delivering Chandrapida, that portion is very complicated and it is connected with so many local details and cultural references. Barring few things, the rest are simpler. And you should read slowly and aloud. It will help.
Yes.
And even Kadambari Sangraha is there by Ramakrishna Acharya. If you go through that once and then go to the main Kadambari, it will become more easier. Next question.
Sir, another one thing I had to ask. as we had highlighted Avadhanam as an art of multitasking and lateral thinking, it happens that how is it that we train our mind to do? Because when we try to concentrate on one particular thing, we often mess with another thing. In the previous session or maybe 2 sessions before, Shashi Kiran sir had highlighted that there is one thing that goes constantly and there is some another thing which goes in the back of the mind. But then to deal with 8 things at one period of time, how does that process take place? Is there any formula in particular to apply?
Thank you. Beautiful question. But the only answer is Vyavadhana, as earlier mentioned by Shashi. It is two-folded. One is serious and other is lighter. One is routine and the other is specialized. One person to become an Avadhani, he or she should train in versification to that extent that it will be his second nature. To that extent, versification, the art of versification has to be inculcated and practiced. Then it will happen, and you have to experience and believe it.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you.
I am very absent-minded, honestly I say. I cannot claim any mantropadesha, I cannot claim any guru coming and putting his palm on my head and making Shaktipat or Sannipata, no such vikara. And I am a very, very ordinary person. My memory is very, very ordinary, below normal. And also I am not an erudite scholar in various aspects of Shastra, whether it is Nyaya or Vyakarana or Vedanta, all are self-taught. In spite of that, I have been performing. And so, it is not a superhuman task.
So great exposure to
poetry. Like that I told in the second Avadhana itself. So, versification and love for classical art, they gradually, see, when I perform few Avadhanas, after that I met my mentor, Lanka Krishnamurti, and after 10 or 12 Avadhanams, I told him, how do you feel? He told, he used to address me, sir, very respectfully he used to call everyone, address everyone. Sir, after you completing your 100th Avadhana, I would say. Till then, don't ask me and don't bother about that. So, practice. Performance itself is a practicing arena. Like that.
Thank you, sir.
So Vipasha ji can ask the question, and after that, Lalita Sudha ji can.
Namaste, Guruji. My question is about can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear.
Yeah, okay. My question is about Ashtabhasha Kavitva Avdhan. That how does 8 language work there? Like every round one language, or each prakshaka has one language to ask about? That's the first question. And then related to this only, are there any avdhan which are related to translation or something, that translating from one language to another language? And one more, like last question. It was about Chaturanga Avdhan that you mentioned yesterday, that playing chess simultaneously or like blindfolded. Even many grandmasters do that now, and we have one classmate doing PhD from Vyakaran. He also does that. So is that it in Chaturanga Avdhan, or are there any other components? If that is it, then we maybe tell them that they are already doing Avdhan or something.
Yeah. First, I shall answer your last question, because very simple answer. I don't know. Apart from playing chess, I did play chess, but I don't have any big say on that. And how it can be developed and how it can be presented even more engagingly, attractively, it is left to those people there. They can add anything. Chess as a component can always be added, but one and all should be capable of watching it. And for that, special arrangement should be made. I mentioned that yesterday. And then coming to Ashtabhasha Avadhana, 8 languages were used. We don't know how they were using it. Apart from the name, we don't have any other details left for us. Perhaps they used to compose various poems in various languages. That's how they used to go on. But I have performed Ashtabhasha Avadhana, where 8 different languages were used for 8 different components. I used Greek for the count of the bells.
Oh,
I used Sanskrit for Nishedhakshara, and I used Kannada for Ashukavita, and Telugu for Samasya Purana, and then Prakritam for Dattapadi. Like that I did. So 8 different languages, and in English I did Apastata Prasangam. Like that, you can choose your languages according to your capability, according to your felicity there. In Ashtabhasha Ashtabhasha I did so, but none have performed that Ashtabhasha Avadhana apart from me. I performed only once. I performed Chaturbhasha Shatavadhana simultaneously in 4 languages, 25 each, like that. In my 4th Avadhana I did so. So it all depends upon the Avadhani, the choice.
yeah. And about the translation of Dhan, if there are any. Yeah.
We can, in regional languages, you can have the same elements. In all Indian languages, more or less, they find their respective places. No need for any change. If at all, I told earlier and I have repeated that any change if you make, it should not be at the cost of quality and the entertainment. Of course, entertainment is also a quality, but the quality of presentation, the difficulty of the art, you should not present in a difficult manner. But even while presenting in a jovial manner, even while performing in an effortless manner, the intrinsic difficulty should always be there. If not, the art will lose its respect and dignity.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Lalita Sudhaji.
Namaste. Am I audible?
Yes.
Namaskara. So much of interest I entered into this workshop actually. It gave me a pleasant subject on that. I want to express my thanks regarding this one only, that's all. And the next point, what I want to make, is there any internships like Gruha Danam, what you said, no? Internships means to make a practice of together practicing.
Sorry, sir, we're not quite grasping the question. Is there any platform to practice the components of Avadhanam? Is that your question?
Yeah, first, that is the one thing.
Okay, you know, these poetic competitions are held at so many levels, and using the same example shared in this in these sessions, you can practice that. Ashu Kavita is a personal exercise. You can, you know, while walking, while sauntering on the streets, you can compose verses on any topic, any, you know, object you come across, and you can see, for example, try out words using different languages, try out composing verses in Dattapadi as samasyas. If you find it hard to come out with your own samasyas, use the typical time-honored ones. Kriya siddhi sattve bhavati mahatam nopakarane is a very famous samasya. Try compose your own solution for that, and you know, you can do things like that.
I practiced for my Shatavadhanam, something like this. Then I was studying in Institute of Science. Morning I used to walk from my place to Institute of Science and come back from there to my residence in the evening.
Okay.
While going, what are the things which I saw, I used to compose a line. And while coming back, I used to compose this next line by looking at the things. So for 2 days I used to do it. So 4 lines used to be completed. And I used to have the retention of that. So that for 1 or 2 times I did that experiment. And even in my early days when I was performing Ashtavadhanam, before the performance, before 3-4 hours to performance, I used to mentally enact the whole Ashtavadhanam, me myself becoming the questionnaire, Prasangi and Ghanta Vadaka and every such thing. That way mental exercises are always possible, I think.
Okay. My another question is, you are a mechanical engineer, you said, right? You studied that. I mean, in your profile, I saw that.
Yes.
How you practice this one, from what age, who provoked you this, and how you maintain this till this age?
Since childhood, I had interest in fine arts. That is what culturally rootedness very, very important. I was completely soaked in Indian culture. It was not a peculiar thing. Everyone used to be Katha Kalakshepams used to go on, temple rituals and festivals used to go on, and every day we had in the household background we have certain stotras being recited and music will be going on and friends and relatives will be there, festivals and occasional functions will be going on, reading books. In that way, no special thing. And this way of cultural richness being imbibed, that is the most important education. This is drastically lost in the modern scenario. Modern Indians, they are Indians by passport and not by culture. And even to know a Rathotsava, even to know one Ganapati Parva, even to know one Bhadram Karne Vishunayam Devaha, they have to Google, they have to make research. That's what they are saying. We are researching. So what we learned as child play has become research. This is the problem. So this cultural rootedness is very important. When I was performing my Avadhan in Dakshin Kannada and Uttar Kannada, I told, if at all this art in our state has any future, only Avadhanis from these places will emerge out and they do it because the cultural vibrance is so pronounced there. This is important. And then in my school, I had Sanskrit, and my teachers used to make it more interesting. Though they are not great scholars, but they made it interesting and they developed love for that. So, and constantly reading, that is very important.
Hari Om. Thank you, Ganeshji, for yet another illuminating session on the art of Avadhanam and for sharing with us the lesser known nuances of an Avadhani's life and journey. Thank you, Shashikaranji, as well, for all your comments and observations and answers. I do have a few announcements. I'll make it very brief. First, let me remind you about the Ashtavadhanam organized tomorrow at Aksharam, Bangalore with Ashtavadhani Sri Surya Hebbar, who is also a participant of this workshop. You can watch it on YouTube on Chinmaya Vishwavidyapeeth's official channel from 10 to 1 p.m. For more details, please check the poster shared in the email thread with you. We will also have the last session of the workshop by Ganeshji tomorrow evening. The very first part of it, a 1-hour talk on the topic Art of Avadhana, Prospect and Retrospect, will be broadcast live on YouTube. This will also be on Chinmaya Vishwavidyapeeth's channel. Please spread the word about this so that more can avail this opportunity to learn from Ganeshji's knowledge and experience. Please remember that all of you, the participants, have to join via Zoom as usual. After the first hour, when the YouTube live ends, we will have an interaction, just us, where Ganeshji and Shashikaranji will answer any pending questions. We hope you will also share your experiences. We will conclude the workshop with that particular session tomorrow. Now, those of you who are interested in the excerpt from the interview of the Vice Chancellor of CVV we showed in the beginning, you can watch the whole interview on our YouTube channel. Please stay till the end of this session to watch another interview with the Dean of Faculties at CVV, Professor Gauri Maholikar, talking about career options for Sanskrit students. Vijitaiji, may I request you to offer the Shanti Mantra?
Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.